Allen Rio and Chevy.
Propagating truth in a world of lies. You are listening to the Johnage Project.
Trust no one. Trust no one. Trust no one.
You found it. You're here. You're headlong down the runaway train that is the anomicage, and I am your host, johnage, hailing proudly from the coastal plains of the old North State. I will be your tour guide this evening as we take a somewhat satirical journey down the path of murder, destruction, mayhem, and the extermination of human life on this planet. A forced march into obsolescence thrust upon us by a global satanic death cult of pedophiles. I'm not sure we'll get into any of that this evening, if I'm being frank with you, but we'll get into something. First and foremost, folks, I want to dedicate this show, and maybe the rest of my shows, if I do any more, to my father. It's been a while, and I've got a whole lot to cover. A lot of housekeeping things to get into before I actually get into the title of tonight's episode, Meaning in the Meaninglessness. So I'll just jump headlong into this thing and see how it goes. So if you are into a short show this evening, you have chosen the wrong show, because that ain't going to be how it functions ever, and assuredly not on this evening. Lovely night out here in North Cac. It's looking very rainy and dreary on the south side of the Mason-Dixon, so that's good news. I hope all those folks that are being affected by the weather weapons kind of in the center of the state and then into South Carolina, Georgia, and the like. Looks like they got some more weather weapons going for you guys. I don't know. I hope nothing but the best for you all. So I'm going to shut my mouth talking about all that, because I don't want to get into that right now. I got too much other pressing matters to get into. Last time I did a show on any platform, December 20th, 2024. So it's been a while. We're sitting at March 17th, year of our Lord, 2025. And never to quote the Grateful Dead, but what a long, strange trip it has been since then. The long and short of it is, if you followed my social media at all, which I don't know if anyone is, but you can find me on the usual suspect platforms. On the 25th of December, I wrote I guess somewhat cryptic, it wasn't really meant to be, but I said, "Over and out unless otherwise noted. Thank you for the last 6 years of support." And I hadn't posted another doggone thing on Twitter or on Facebook. Those are really the only two that I did anything on with any regularity. You can find me on all the usual suspect video platforms. So those just posted the new show videos. But I suppose Twitter, or X, as they call it now, the youngsters, is what I posted on the most frequently. So that was kind of my last post on anything. And the long and short of it is, December 26th, 2024, my dad died. And it was a bit of a surprise. He had a similar health problem last year, or I should say the year before, in 2023 in December, but he seemed to be well on the mend and doing much better. But on December 26th, one day before his birthday, He died after about 6 days in the hospital. Excuse me. I'm not going to disclose which it was, so we'll just say in hospital. You'll forgive me if my throat's not quite up to par, because as I said, I haven't posted anything since December 20th. So on December 26th, he passed away in hospital. And if those of you who know me, I'm very introspective, very reflective, and very deep into the pool. So this was absolutely one of those life-changing existential events, hence why I posted what I did on the social media the day before. So I say all that to say this. It's been tough. It's been rough. It's been crazy. And I posted that on the 25th because I didn't really think I was going to come back and do anything on any platform at all. Even just prior to my father's death, I kind of saw the writing on the wall, the proverbial writing on the wall, if you will. So I knew what was ahead, and I had already been feeling like, man, I just don't have it in me anymore. I don't have a lot to really bring to the fight, if you will. And I still don't know if I do, but I'll be here till I'm not. So I'll just leave it at that. Before I go on, I definitely want to thank all those folks on Patreon that are still hanging with me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I have not disclosed any of those names, and I shan't now. So I'll just leave it a little open and say thank you for those folks who are still hanging with me on Patreon. In whatever capacity you're hanging with me. I have not disclosed any of this to anyone virtually in internet land, in the show land. So if you don't know, now you know. I have not just been resting on my laurels, resting on a beach in the sun, or just too lazy to get the job done. That's not been the case. I'm still, I don't know what step on that Kubler-Ross stages of grief I am on, but I haven't really processed anything. So, and those of you who know me know that I don't do death very well. It's always this bizarre thing. As I've said on this show many times, it's something that I'm kind of good at, which is not a bragging point. It's something that I, as a consequence of saying I'm good at it, really just means I'm not good at it. So I've dealt with a lot of death in the past in my life, but this one hits way too close to home. So I'm not good at it. I'm not doing well with it. I'm not doing well at all. So there you go. I was thinking of this earlier, and a friend of mine texted me a couple hours ago, and I just wanted to text him back and say, like, yo, I'm doing inherently bad. Like, that's how I'm doing. I'm not doing well. Very bad. Muy malo. Por supuesto. Pero no más hablando en español hoy. So that's really what's up, folks. That's what's up. So the direction of this show shall be whatever I deem it to be. I really deem it to be not very political because I've just had enough. I really have. In the immortal words of Government Issue, in their earlier Discord stuff, I'm so bored, I'm bored to death. And I don't mean I'm bored to death with things in life, that I'm bored to death with things that are going on. It just means that I've just kind of had enough of all the usual talk of as the world burns. You know, I'm done with is Trump real? Is he not? Is anybody getting arrested? Are they not? You know, what's getting audited? What's not? In the grand scheme of things, who gives a Rudy poo? Perhaps some of you do, but I just ain't one of you. So that's kind of where I stand, and otherwise rest on that. I'm going to take the show probably in a little bit more of a deeper into the pool, a lot more introspection, a lot more psychology, a lot more, dare I say, personal growth. That's kind of where I'm going to lean in on the show. And I haven't really announced any of this, but I'm still going to have guests, I think. I don't know. What I've really decided is that I'm only going to have guests, and this is no shot at anyone I've ever had on the show, but I'm going to have guests that I really just want to talk to about what I want to talk to about. It's not going to be like the waterfront of news. It's not going to be the Trump and blah, blah, blah. It's really just going to be me picking and choosing. That's really what it boils down to. Excuse me. I've always been the one picking and choosing, but I've definitely sort of covered the waterfront of topics. I've intentionally gone after topics that I wanted to talk about at that time, but I just don't care. I really just don't anymore about so much of the buffet of buffoonery, the melange of turds, whatever you want to call it. I'm done with a lot of it. So I'm going to take the show in a quite different direction in many regards. For as long as I want to, I might just, jerk the wheel and go back political or conspiratorial or tinfoil hat or whatever. But that's what's up. That's really what's up. So we'll go in that direction. Feel free to come with me if you shall. A lot of other things I want to get into tonight before we delve into the meat or heart of the matter. You can definitely now find me on YouTube, for heaven's sakes. I don't know why I didn't pull this page up. It was to my own detriment that I hadn't pulled this up. I'm sorry. But yeah, you can find me on YouTube for sure right now. It is streaming live on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube, let me go there right this momento. So you go to the YouTube right now. Somebody maybe is listening. I doubt it. Because they took down my channel about 4 years ago, I believe. Maybe 3. 3 and some change. I don't know. But they took down the old channel. So now, if you're on the YouTube, my goodness gracious, why am I just belaboring the inevitable? If you go on the YouTube right now, and then you can go, if it ever pulls up, that is. You can go / at johnage project. There we go. And then I'll put it on the screen for you. That's the way to do it, John. So if you go right there right now, you will see the new, completely, absolutely new, the Johnage Project. And you'll see the title, Anomic Empire. Because that's exactly what we're in, is Smurfly an anomic empire right now. So, nevertheless, go there if you shall, if you can, if you may, and you will see the new and improved Johnage Project. And I've tried to, let me try to put my words together concisely. I've said, you know what? Kind of like I got back on Twitter after finally just asking if I could get back on Twitter. Truth be told, I asked if I could get back on the YouTube with my old channel, and they just said no. So after months and actually years since I've been booted, but months, because I was kicking this around in my head, like maybe I should just try to get back on YouTube. So I finally just got back on YouTube under the guise of a new channel, a new name, and the like. So that's why it is youtube.com / at johnage project. There you go. So that is another name for this show. The anomicage being the most obvious, anomicage.com. But of course, the Johnage Project, sort of a pseudonym or a nom de plume of the same variety. So I am back on YouTube again. So please check me out there. I'm streaming live right now. If you can do no more, you can go to that channel. You can like it. You can hit the subscription button and the like. Also, I'm on Facebook and Twitter. Those are the two mainstays of this program. So please do that. If you go to anomicage.com, excuse me, you're going to be able to find everything that is me. So you can find the YouTube channel there, the Brighteon channel, the Rumble, the Odyssey, right? Is that the one I'm writing? Yeah, they're all there. I'm just saying they're all there. So whatever you happen to be listening to and or watching this on, you can definitely hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Try to break the algorithms, because although I'm on YouTube, I guarantee you they've put me in the back of the bus. They've put me underneath all kinds of raps. You can bet I'm not showing up in anyone's algorithms at all. So in order to fight the power, then you might have to actually do that. So that's just more ad nauseum stuff that people have already probably cut off this video, but do it to your own detriment. I thumb my nose at you if you are gone. So other good stuff I wanted to get into. Also have more exciting ways that you too can follow me. So I'm also the most obvious there, anomicage.com. If you go there, I'm going to pull this up on the screen too because somebody ain't there, and that's making me sad. So check it. Go to anomicage.com. It looks like this. Bling. Yep, just like that actually. All right, so we'll pull this over here because this is what I actually wanted to show you. You can now donate with Cash App. I've thrown a couple more on there. You can go direct and donate to PayPal if you want to do it that way. You can go to Cash App if you want to go that way. You can go to Patreon if you would like to become a patron, which I highly encourage because it kind of keeps things on the regular. You can do that for as little or as much as you like. Because we got people on there that's free on Patreon. We got folks on there that's giving me $1 on Patreon and the like. I appreciate you all. So if you could do no more, throw me a little coin that way. And I've also added this new one, Buy Me a Cup of Coffee. You can click on those direct links there at the home page and do all that. Okay? Lightning address, you can also shoot me some Satoshis if you want to do that too. All that and so much more at anomicage.com. All right, so what else we got on this thing? This seems to be completely off for some reason. Oh well. It's okay. I'm not going to fool with it right now. But what else have we got on that thing? If you go down there at the bottom, you can also subscribe by email. That'll shoot you an email every time I make a post. You can also get the iPhone app, the Android app, subscribe by email link, and of course sign up for the free newsletter. So much more can be done right there at anomicage.com. So keep that in mind if you'd like to do that. Okay, moving on. There we go. We're getting out of there. Okay. So I'm like, I'm not going to shut this whole thing down and fix this, but it's driving me kind of berserk. That, yeah, nobody knows this problem but me, so it's okay. I'm not going to make a big deal of it. I'm just going to keep on keeping on. All right, so other things I want to get into is some special thank yous, because you don't get enough thank yous, and by God, I'm going to give you some thank yous. Oh, my heavens to Murgatroyd. Yeah, we're going to go with that. So, in the grand scheme of things, people don't get their flowers enough. People don't get thank yous enough. And sometimes God doesn't give you what you want. He gives you what you need. You know, you can paraphrase that in some Rolling Stones lyrics if you like, but I won't. But anyway, sometimes you don't get what you want, you get what you need. And I've been teetering back and forth as to whether or not to continue this show or not. And I don't know if it's because of these folks or if I'd say they've definitely helped me out. And it's funny because people often think, you know, you're not impacting anybody, you're not really doing anything. And I feel the same way, folks. I'm going to try to help people out. If you're feeling that way, here's a shout out to some folks that deserve it. Yeah, that's not it. Split it. There we go. That's it right there. So, Dr. Mari Nara. I've mentioned her a few times on this show, and I'm going to mention her again. So there you go. So Dr. Mari Nara, thank you. She is the only person that's reached out to me since this whole thing happened to just inquire, hey, where you been? The only person here in the ever fun, fake, and full of baloney world of the intranets, of the influences, of the shows, of the Patriots, and the like. And folks, let me break down a wall for you. Youth of today. Let me break down a wall for you. Because a lot of people, I guess, would think that everybody's just friends and we're all just kumbaya and there's no backbiting and there's no territoriality and there's no people trying to usurp your audience and gain an audience for themselves and the like. But it's really not like that. So I can count on one hand the people that are in the quote-unquote patriot movement, the alternative media, and the like that I'm actually down with. Okay? On one hand at the most. We could probably count a couple fingers. But I will count Dr. Marinara as one of them. She's been a supporter of this show for a few years now. And as I said before, the only person that reached out to me and just kind of asked, yo, where you at? You all right? So thank you. I humbly say thank you. I support your show. I'm sorry, you don't really have a show, but I support your platform because I link to it and repost it often, or at least I did when I was active on the Twitter, which I might jump back into. But anyway, can't recommend her information enough. So if you're not hip to it, the X there / Marinara Patreon. So shout out to her. Please check that person's material out. Can't say enough. Thank you. That's all I can say. You have definitely inspired me to keep going on this because at least you let me know someone out there cares. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Another one I'm going to shout out because people don't get enough love out there. Wisdom and Knowledge 5. Mark, shout out to you, my man. We've never really collaborated or, done anything special. But we should, man. If you're down, I'm down. But nevertheless, thank you, sir. I see you quite often in the real world, and I'll just leave it at that. I ain't trying to blow any whistles on anybody. Thank you for giving me some words of encouragement the other day when we spoke and basically just saying, yo, don't give up the ghost on this, man. You got this. Get back in the ring in whatever capacity you want to and start swinging. So thank you, Mark. Can't say enough good things if you're into that. Wisdom and Knowledge 5. He is available on the YouTube. And several other platforms. He's got his own show. Don't you know? So check that out too. Okie dokie. Someone out there is going, man, I wish you'd stop talking and talk about something real. So here goes. Something real, eh? Man. As you know, I often link into the music side of things, although I would definitely classify myself as assuredly retired from that scene. Sometimes it does help me to find meaning in the meaninglessness. So as I was kind of getting ramped up for this evening, and if you hear any snoring, it's my dog. She decided to come hang out this evening. I don't know why. But I'm glad. Maybe she was thinking, yo, you might need a little moral support. So she's over here kicking it with me. But, yeah, meaning in the meaninglessness, folks. I picked this piece because it was in my head. Old classic Burn song called Drown. This depression is haunting me. I can't break free and I cannot be me. I don't know what to do because there is no escape from your grasp. And you'll squeeze me until I ooze from the cracks. But I've come back for more. All right, I won't bore you with the whole Burn song, although I am tempted to. That's kind of where my head's been at for a long time. I don't think I've gotten a good night's sleep, good grief, since goodness, maybe like December 20th, something like that. So this whole thing has been quite a journey for me. December 20th, my wife woke me up because my mom had called and was on the phone. And frantic because she was on the way to take my dad to a doctor's appointment. And he went into an arrest, cardiac arrest in the car. I had to pull over in the whole 9 yards. It was dreadful. But anyway, long story longer, that's what I woke up to on the 20th, I do believe, of December. And I don't believe I've gotten a good night's sleep since then. Let me change that because me and my daughter did go camping a few days ago, and I'm going to have a show about that. And I don't care if you like it or not. I'm going to have a show about that too. Because on those 2 days, ironically enough, although it was cold and crazy and the whole thing, I probably slept well those 2 days. So maybe I've slept well 2 days since December 20th. Because since all this has popped off, I've kind of been circling the drain and trying to find meaning in the meaninglessness. And let me see. I know those of you who ever liked the Dead Kennedys can obviously probably see. A lot like Winston Smith, the gentleman that did a lot of the Dead Kennedys album art. I really wasn't intending it to be that way. But if you're looking at that and you're looking at old Dead Kennedys album art, you're probably going, that looks kind of not similar, but at least in the same vein. And I'll grant you that, because that's what I was trying to come up with, some images that really conjured up meaning in the meaninglessness for me. And that, I do believe, does it. It depicts some people in the 70s kind of going through a yard sale. And leave it to me to find some melancholy in a yard sale. But the image spoke to me, and this is kind of the images that it conjured up in my own heart. It definitely conjured up images of just that, of people finding meaning in the meaninglessness. And the weird thing about yard sales, estate sales, auctions, and the like, is oftentimes what it boils down to is a death. Oftentimes there's been a death. And from that death, people are left with a lot of human wreckage. Or just bits and bobs that no longer really fit congruently or have their ascribed, assigned, or otherwise given meaning in the society or context that they once did. So when someone dies, you are kind of left with a lot of stuff. And of that stuff, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to throw it away? Are you going to Goodwill it? You're going to give it away to somebody? Or are you going to have a yard sale with it? You know, and that's oftentimes what happens. And it's oftentimes people just sort of scavenging, looking over things that once perhaps had great meaning or little meaning, sort of the ebb and flow side of things, to someone, and they're trying to give meaning to the meaninglessness again. So somebody might find that old pair of golf clubs, that old fishing pole, that old saw, or what have you, and go, hey man, I can do something with this. This might, I can use this around the house. I can give this to so and so. My daughter might like this. My grandson might like this. You know how it goes. So trying to find meaning in the meaninglessness. That's really what I'm doing. And I've taken a big step back and tried to really look at things through varied lenses on this whole thing. And I've been trying to find meaning in the meaninglessness for a long time. I really have. So many times, and I'll throw another spin on this thing, because so many times people, I think, are really confronted with this quandary, enigma, if you will, during a death. Or after a death, perhaps is more accurate there. But I think that's what's up. Because oftentimes I'll use the phrase near-death experience, and I'll take it out of its probably originally intended context. Because usually when people think of a near-death experience, they think of someone that's actually died and been brought back to life, and that whole tunnel with the light at the end and all that sort of stuff. I'm not going to use it in that context in this program. I'm going to say near-death experience, meaning someone has been close to death. Not close to their own death, but close to death vis-a-vis another person, a friend, family member, close one, whatever you want to put it in the contextual coffin, so to speak. Close to death. So as you get near death to someone's death, hopefully not your own, it does bring you in that sort of same ballpark, those same Venn diagram rings, if you will. And it makes you really think. It forces you to confront the meaninglessness of it all. What does it all mean, folks? It's really what's up. And as I was going through that, I kept having that looped, what does it all mean, words in my head. And I swear I thought that it was in a ministry track. Maybe it is, but I couldn't find it. I thought it was in the ministry song, Just One Fix. But perhaps it's another ministry song. I know that looped, what does it all mean, is in some song somewhere. So if you know, throw it in the comments. That'll help me out a little bit. But I digress. It puts you in those same Venn diagram rings. It forces you to confront your own mortality. And it forces you to come up with some serious answers in what, in fact, does it all mean? What is the point of it all, folks? And I was thinking, it reminded me of an old article that I read in graduate school. I'll give you the abridged title. The abridged title was, What's the God-blipping point of it all anyway? And it was really talking about archaeology and anthropology in general, but I loved the title. I can't say that the article really resonated with me, but the title spoke to me directly, especially in graduate school. Because I don't know about you, but man, you just reading a bunch of garbage and just regurgitating a bunch of garbage, for me anyway. Learned nothing. It was just a big urinating in the wind contest. And I often thought, what does it all mean? Or to the article's point, what is the God-blipping point of it all? So, I don't have you any answers. I just don't. And I've looked at a lot of old movies lately. And I say old, they're not old, but 30 years old's old to some people. But I've looked at a lot of old movies lately, and they've struck me differently. They've resonated quite differently than in their original viewing. And I might do a whole nother show about that, but I was watching the old movie City Slickers. And it's a sort of I won't say a coming-of-age tale, but a coming of middle-age tale for these different gentlemen. And Curly, the main, well, maybe he's not the main character, but he's definitely an essential character in the show. Jack Palance, one of his last great roles, speaking with Billy Crystal, who's struggling to find out what it all means. What is the God-blipping point of it all? And Jack Palance, in that lovely, husky voice, it's that one thing, And I don't know if that has ever hit me like steel so much as it did after I watched it, a few weeks back. But I think to a greater or lesser degree, what is the point of it all? Maybe is that one thing. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I'll go a little musical on you here because I was, again, just in the car, had the thing on rotation. And as my daughter will attest, I'm notorious for just nexting everything. I listen to stuff that once had great meaning, means nothing to me anymore, and it just makes me sick, to be honest with you. But I was listening to a NoFX song, The Death of John Smith. And those lyrics kind of hit me like steel, too. I'll keep on working for the benefit. I'll keep believing. I'll keep on believing. I'll keep on believing in my life. And it's kind of the song of the everyman kind of going through the motions and going through the proverbial, what does it all mean? What indeed does it all mean, folks? And I'm sure there's some people far more Christian than me that are going to get up here and say, it's all about God, John. How did you not see this? I guess, I, maybe being a heretic or some sort of outcast, I don't know. But I do kind of believe that it's kind of that Curly thing. It's that one thing. Whatever you deem it to be can kind of become that one thing. So what is that one thing? I'm not quite sure. I think it's something different for everyone, as intimated in the movie. And I also believe that it's something that can definitely change over time. And I think as we get a little older, that thing should change. So if the thing that means the most to you, that one thing, is the same thing at 47 as it was at 17, then you probably have a problem. You've probably gone through some trauma and you're existing in some arrested developments. Because it should change, and it shouldn't just be that singular thing, I don't believe, throughout the entirety of your life. So I don't have any answers, really, is what it all boils down to, folks. I just don't. But I'm still trying to circle the airport here until I do. And for right here and now, I'm clicking screens to just get some nonsense out of my life. Better. But for here and now, I would say it does boil down to that one thing, and that one thing's constantly going to change. To give you a little minor threat, it's all in flux. There's no set of rules. I'm not telling you what to do, okay? So it's going to change. You're going to have some sort of some intrinsic ties that I believe will stay the same, but it's all going to change, folks. And it's going to change as you get older. It's going to change as you mature. It's going to change as people die. It's going to change as people are born. Things are going to look vastly different to you at different stages of your life. Before my daughter was born, I went to the gym every day, like 6 days a week minimum, for like an hour a day. It was crazy. Or was it? I don't know. It was great at the time, but then, children are born and your priorities change, or at least they should. Like, your priority should probably be, let me spend some time with my daughter and my family, and I could probably spend less time at the gym. I don't know. I'm not saying you should just sit around and be a big fat piece of trash. I'm just, saying you gotta move things on the game board a little bit. But yeah, the death of John Smith. To come back to that NoFX song, lyrically, oh man, so tight. You see, my wife and kids, they depend on me to provide them with nothing but the best. I feel it's my duty, my obligation to live up to the standards society suggests. Ooh. I can't even be a big NoFX fan anymore because I'm so ideologically different than everything that they're about. But yeah, that song is spot on. It's talking about, do you just fall in line and go along to get along and do what you're supposed to do, to meet whatever society's suggests. I've never been a conformist. I've never been one to follow the rules. So I'm automatically going to thumb my nose at that whole thing and say, nah, forget about it. So you could look at that through the very rebellious lens of johnage, but you could also probably look at it through the more biblical lens and say, hey, your goal should probably not be, as a Christian, to conform to the ideals, norms, mores, and otherwise of this world. Because, in case you ain't been looking around, folks, it's kind of a mess out here. If you're trying to conform to any norm, standards, and otherwise of this world, you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, for sure. So, meaning in the meaninglessness, I'm going to pull the plug on this one right about now, folks. If you got any other thoughts, suggestions, or otherwise on how to better navigate and find meaning in the meaninglessness, let me know. I have no answers for you. I will fully admit I am old/mature enough to come to that great realization. When we were all younger, I think at least we thought we had the world by the scruff. And we thought we had it all figured out. At least I know I did. I was like, yeah, I got this. It's going to be great. I know exactly what's up. And then before you know it, you realize, you don't know anything. You don't know what's up at all. What's up is down and what's right is left. And, again, more biblical for you, but you'll have them believing that one thing is the other, to paraphrase. And that is a whole nother conversation for this show, but yeah. So as you get older, I think you should come to some great realizations and figure out that, what you thought was right probably ain't right. Especially if you went to public school. My goodness. Whew. Don't be believing that jive mess, boys and girls. Scary, baby. Scary. All right, meaning in the meaninglessness, smokes. I'm going to sign off for tonight. I'm going to try to come at you sooner than later. I'll definitely say that something that gave me pause to not forever quit this show is I knew that I had to put one more show out as a tribute to my father and one more show out to just sort of explain things as far as my own absence. But as I was doing that, other shows, topics, ideas, and so forth kept entering my mind. So I thought to myself, well, if I got one more show in me, I've darn near conjured up about 5 other ones that I can cover things on and that I have to speak on that is not just the mundane, trite poppycock of the news, the alternative news and what they want you to know. So I'll be back sooner than later to give you a little bit more. I'm going to probably be back this week. And before I know it, I'm going to have a schedule set up, folks, because we're coming into a new season, assuredly a new season of my life and a new season of this show. So I'm going to put hard and fast times, dates, and openings that this show will guaranteed be on, win, lose, or draw, even if it's me just coming up here and spouting off a little bit. So I say all that to say this, as usual, you can't do everything, but you can do something. Please get out there, do your part, make a difference, and I will be seeing you sooner than later in the anomic age. Thank you all once again for putting up with me. We'll do it again real soon.
Thank you for listening to The Anomic Age, a John Age project. For past shows, further info, and to comment, go to anomicage.com. That's anomicage.com. Till next time, thank you for listening to The Anomic Age.
Thank you.